Good day and welcome back to another DB Legends video. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the updated build for the Yellow, Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 characters. I'm going to preface this by saying that for me, overall, when I look at your updated builds, a lot of the time it happens when you get a new ultimate equipment, a new plat equip, as we used to call them, but now are unique equips. And in the case of Gamma 1 and Gamma 2, this is entirely the situation. They have received a new unique equip. Now this unique equip is already on top of their previous unique equip. So they have two equips that give them passives. This is not something we've seen very often. In fact, I have to be honest, I don't remember when last it was done. But it is very important to note that both of these equips are non-negotiable. So when you talk about a build for them, you really talk about a third piece of equipment that players will, need to pick for themselves. Two pieces of equipment for this character are non-negotiable. You need to have them, and you need to have their third slot at the very minimum red, so that you are able to use this unit. So when I talk build, in this case, I'm basically talking about a review, because there's no real build to be done here. There's a third equip slot which can fluctuate depending on your unit. I have the very nice weapon wielding Trunks, because I think it's great because of the base health, base blast or strike attack, and the special move damage, which I think is good. But ultimately, you're going to need to decide for yourself what that third slot is. But the two equips that we do have, Last Ditch Assault, and you are going to have to contend with me, Invader, are both mandatory. For the stat increase, they both give huge amounts. Big health, 30% between the two of them. Big strike defense, big blast defense. Big health restoration up as well. Damage guard up as well. Inflicted damage up. Base damage up. Base strike up. Base blast up. And then obviously the third slot. So for Last Ditch Assault, applies the following effects itself when the enemy switches character while they're on the field. You randomly draw a new card. When you have 3 or fewer, you restore HP by 3%. And if your own key is 3 or lower after you use an arts card, you restore 15 key, which is great. You then apply buff effects, notification of enemy special action that activate when changing cover for 3 timer counts, which is really good. You are going to have to continue with me now, however. Nullifies special cover changes, draws blast arts next, nullifies attribute downgrades on core break activation, and damage guard penetration. So this augments our core breaker. This is the key mechanism that they have. So for people who don't know Gamma 1 and Gamma 2, their core mechanic is that they are a tag unit, which should be pretty obvious. But after they switch a certain amount of times, they'll activate the core breaker. Well, how that works is pretty simple. Basically, if they have activated the core breaker, they will no longer be able to switch between Gamma 1 and Gamma 2. Instead, Gamma 1 will essentially stay, and Gamma 2 will go into the air and perform a sacrifice. This core breaker mechanic is very crucial. It does huge damage, like absolutely huge damage. Targets the entire battlefield. When the unique gauge reaches 0, you will be permanently stuck to Gamma 2. You will restore your health by 15%. You will get 20% in damage inflicted. You will nullify unfavorable element factors. You will nullify restore health factors. You will restore vanishing gauge by 100%. And half of the damage you inflict will be inflicted on nearby allies. But this move does like ridiculous damage. This move does like high super, we're talking massive damage, especially now with the additional penetration from the new unique equip. This one does very, very, very big core damage. Does actually very impressive damage. So the core breaker is good in that regard. And getting there is not too difficult. You have to switch a couple times, but when you switch especially, you get so many benefits. So, like when switching between characters, you restore your health, you restore your ki, you nullify unfavorable element factors, you restore boost, and especially when you're switching from like Gamma 1, and Gamma 1 is very tanky. So, you restore a lot of health every time you get hit by an enemy attack. You restore health up when hit with the enemy's arts attack. Activates up to, every single time is 10% HP. Enemy ki gets reduced by 20, which is super important. When you cover change, you nullify own unfavorable element factors. You increase your arts card draw speed. You restore ally health as well, which is great. So all of that's really good. On top of that, they do some really good damage. So, if we're looking at Gamma 1, he does some good blast damage. He's got anti-armor blast damage, which is great. Really helpful. His green card draws a special move arts card next, restores his own health, reduces enemy's ki, seals enemy special arts, inflicts the enemy with massive downgrades. If there's a defeated battle member, charges unique gauge, increases switch gauge, restores vanishing step gauge, special arts card, plus 30% to special move damage, applies attribute upgrades, minus 20% to enemy sustained CUT effects, nullifies enemies restore health when it reaches 0 effects. All super duper important. And I think this is great on Gamma 1. But the fact that they're switching again so much is huge, because when you switch to Gamma 2, he has a whole bunch of benefits as well. And now his benefits are similar, of course, to Gamma 1, but it's really the ease and functionality of the two units, the way they can switch very easily between each other. For example, when he switches back to Gamma 1, it restores your switch gauge. This is super duper helpful. Restores your vanishing gauge, so let you really combo things together, get out of trouble, stay loose, stay active. You look at the key abilities, so very similar from both of them, which is one nice thing. Usually with switch units, you don't have like a similarity between them, like one's a strike and one's a blast, and one's a this and one's a that. With Gamma 1 and Gamma 2, they're both blast, both special, so they both prioritize the same damage structures. This is very crucial. You're not competing with your own card. The anti-armor is huge. Green card is great. Vanishing gauge restoration, switch gauge restoration, and you can, I don't want to say keep perma switching, but you can get a few switches out of them very easily. And Gamma 1 can actually be surprisingly tanky. I think that's the thing that always takes me by surprise, is how tanky Gamma 1 can actually be when you are getting everything together nicely. So I think for me, this unit always has been one I've really liked. The core breaker, all the key mechanics to them always have felt good, and I feel like this unique brings them back into a good playing field. Yes, I wish they had a little bit more going on, but ultimately they look good.